Yes, peace and love, wonderful Black HotFire family. Welcome to the Swahili classes for the weekend. I do hope that you're doing fantastic, and thank you so much for being part of this particular class where we get together and we connect with the aim of getting to improve our understanding and appreciation of the language of Swahili. Remember, on this particular platform, you can always ask a question. You can always, of course, interject, and maybe perhaps you can make your comment in regard to anything that maybe perhaps you might not have understood, on anything that maybe perhaps we might have maybe talked about, or maybe we have touched on. Yesterday we were learning about prepositions. We also did talk about the articles in Swahili. And today we shall be getting a little bit further. We shall be learning about plural, making moving things from the singular form into the plural form in Swahili. As opposed to English, in English we normally add the consonant S to something to make it the plural. For example, if you're talking about a toy, that is one toy. You're talking about one toy, you would say a toy. I have a toy. But if you're moving that to a plural, you say I have toys. So you have only added the letter S to make it toys. But in Swahili, it does not work like that. You do not add an S to a word to make it toys. You might move, for example, from toy to toys. If you're talking about a bag, you might say one bag is a bag. And then when you add the letter S, it becomes bags. So you move from singular to plural by simply adding the letter S. In Swahili, it does not move like that. You cannot add a consonant or a syllable to a word to make it a singular. It depends. It actually changes a lot. For example, if you're talking about an eye, one eye, one eye is known as jicho. Jicho is what we refer to as it translated into one eye. But if we're talking about many eyes, you would say macho, macho. So that has changed from jicho to macho. But you realize that when you're moving in from a singular to plural in Swahili, there are some changes that happen. And you realize that what in English, the plural is formed by adding the letter S to a singular. In Swahili, to form the plural of nouns and adjectives depends on the noun class. In Swahili, nouns are divided into 11 classes, mainly following the syntax rules. For most nouns, the prefix before the root tells whether it is in singular or it is in plural. However, there are some nouns that do not change their structure. Their changes are realized in the syntax. For example, we have the noun class of the nouns that have life, basically people. If you're talking about mtu, for example, mtu is a person. If you're talking about many persons, you would say watu, watu. In the sentence, you might say mtu anakuja, and that is someone is coming. And in other words, you would say watu wanakuja. Mtu is one person, but if you're talking about many people, you would say watu, mtu, watu. And you realize that you have not added any letter or any consonant to that to make it a plural. What happens is that this is dependent on the noun class. It is very, very dependent on the noun class. For example, if you're talking about msichana, that is one person, one lady, a girl, one lady, a girl. When you get to the plural form of it, you would say wasichana, wasichana. So you realize what has changed is the noun class. The noun class is the wa. If you're talking about a doctor, you might say dakitari ametoka for one doctor. But if you're talking about many doctors, you would say madakitari wametoka, madakitari wametoka. Or there's what you do say, there's a word that you use if you're talking about people or living things. It's actually people. You would say akina, akina, A-K-I-A-K-N-A. You would put it as akina. Akina means a group. We would refer to a group. For example, you have one mother. If you have one mother, you would say mama. Mama for one mother. There is another word that you can use. Mama is for women. A woman or a mother, a woman or a mother. But if you're trying to express and say that this is a group of women, then you would say akina mama. You would actually say akina mama. Akina mama. And this is a group of women. A group of women. A group of women. A group of women. So the most important thing to realize when you're learning about Swahili and moving from plural to singular to plural, what you realize is that you're talking about the noun class. There have 11 noun classes. These 11 noun classes, they talk about the singular and the plural. So if you're talking about the total noun classes, then you'd have 22 noun classes. Other people refer to them as 9, and therefore they have a total of 18. But for the case of our learning here, we can talk about 22. So we have the wa class of noun, which is the first class of noun. The wa class of noun, it constitutes all the words that start with the consonant in their singular and the syllable wa in their plural. For example, living things, all people. You're talking about a student, you might say mwanafunzi. Mwanafunzi, that is a student. If you're talking about many students, you would say wanafunzi because in their plural form, they start with the syllable wa. I don't know if we are together up to that particular point, but the thing is, you realize that these are nouns that start with the consonant in their singular, and they start with the syllable wa in their plural. And therefore, if you're talking about a visitor, you would say mgeni. Mgeni is a visitor. Mgeni is a visitor. Is a visitor. Mgeni is a visitor. But if you're talking about many visitors, then you would say wageni. Wageni. If you're talking about one, it's a visitor. If you're talking about many, you would say wageni. That would be wageni. That is visitors. Visitors. So today we are learning about the plural, or actually how you actually talk about things in the plural. Also, if you're talking about, for example, mwalimu. Mwalimu is a teacher. Mwalimu, you're talking about one. If you're talking about one, you would say mwalimu wetu. Mwalimu. If you're talking about many, you would actually say walimu. Mwalimu. Mwalimu in Swahili means teacher. It means teacher. But if you're talking about many teachers, you would say walimu. Say walimu. Walimu for teachers. That would be how you would explain, and that is how you would actually say teachers So whatever you get to do is that when you're talking about the noun classes, this will actually guide you in helping you understand how you get to deal with the plural form of a word in Swahili. For example, I did say for the first class of nouns, we have the wa class of noun or the a wa class of noun. If you're talking about, for example, a farmer, you would say mkulima in the singular, mkulima in the singular. That is one farmer, a farmer. And then you might talk about wakulima, and this is the wakulima is in the plural form. So mkulima is one farmer, wakulima is more than one farmer. You might say mkulima mzuri amepanda mahindi. Mkulima mzuri amepanda mahindi. But if you're talking about many of them, you would say wakulima wazuri wamepanda mahindi. Wakulima wazuri wamepanda mahindi. So therefore you realize that in that regard, we have the wa class of noun, and that guides also how you move a word from the singular form into the plural form. If you have a question, please ask. I would love to be able to understand your question and I respond to your question, because at the end of the day, we are trying to get better and improve in our understanding of the language of Swahili. But also, feel free to also make a comment. If you do have a particular comment that you wanted to address, it is important that you also get to do that. And you can be able to do that by just communicating right here with us on the chat box. And I will be able to see what your comment is. I will be able to know what you would like us to address. But yesterday we were learning about prepositions. We learned about pronouns. We learned also about how you are able to deal with these particular prepositions. And we said that prepositions are known as viwakilishi. They are known as viwakilishi. They are known as viwakilishi, and they represent nouns. But for today, that is not our focus. So we shall go straight into what our focus is for the day. And I was just saying that if you're trying to understand how you move words from the singular to the plural, it is very, very important for you to be able to also know which noun class do those words fall. Which noun class do those words fall under? For example, the second class of noun, this is the key V class of noun. The key V class of noun. So the words in this particular class, the words in this particular class, they fall in the key V. So they start with the syllable key. They will start with the syllable key in their singular, and then they start with the syllable V in their plural. For example, kisu. So I would say kisu. Kisu is for a knife, and that is when I'm talking about just one knife. I would say kisu. But when I'm talking about more than one knives, I would say visu, 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 visu. That is knives in their plural, knives. That is knives. So for example, you might say nipe kisu. Nipe, we learned that yesterday. We say nipe. Nipe means give me. It's a syllable. Sorry, it's a phrase. It means give me. Give me. So if someone says nipe kisu, they are saying give me a knife. Nipe kisu is give me a knife. Give me a knife. But if you're talking about knives, you would say nipe visu. Nipe visu is give me knives. Is give me knives. Give me knives. And you also realize that when you're talking about this in the plural form, you might also be very, very courteous, and you might say nipe kisu tafadhali. If you said nipe kisu tafadhali, it's simply understood to be please give me a knife. Please give me a knife. But if you're talking about many knives, then you would say nipe visu tafadhali. Nipe visu tafadhali. When you get to learn about numbers very, very soon, maybe in our next class or class but one, We shall be talking about the numbers. You're talking about one knife, you would say nipe kisu kimoja. If you're talking about many knives, you might say nipe visu viwili. Viwili, it shows the numbers. How many knives do you need? And that would be give me two knives. Give me two knives. Nipe visu viwili or nipe kisu kimoja. And that is the way it would actually be. And it's not any difficult. If you do have a question, please feel free to interject. You can always ask a question, and I will be more than glad to respond to your question. At the start of this particular class, I played as a song, and the name of the song is Machozi. Machozi simply means tears. If someone is shedding tears, we would say analia machozi, or someone would be anabubujikwa na machozi. That would be they are actually just shedding tears. But the name of the song is also talking about love affairs, sorry, affairs of the heart. So actually saying that even if we actually belong together, the situation has been difficult and nimekuwa nikilia machozi. Lia is a verb. Lia is Lia. This is a verb for cry. But the opposite of that in Swahili, we do say cheka. 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 That is to laugh. To laugh. But that is just a bit of a deviation from our class. These are just things that happen on a day-to-day basis, and the song is actually very beautiful. And the reason for me to mention this particular song is to urge you to check out Swahili music. It will help you a very, very great deal if you're to get some Swahili music. Most of this music that has subtitles, you can be able to use these subtitles, and they can help you in terms of your understanding of the language. What is this particular person saying, and why are they saying it? So in that regard, you will be able to know what is going on, and you will be able to know what it actually means. What it actually means. But we have been talking about common courtesy words, and these common courtesy words, they have to do with things that are, words that you say after, just to show how polite you are. Already in this class, we have talked about tafadhali. Tafadhali simply means please, please. We talk about asante. Asante, it means thank you, thank you. You might also say shukran. Shukran. If someone says shukran, it simply means that they are talking about thank you as well. If someone says tahadhari, they are simply just warning you, and they want you to be extra careful with whatever you're doing, and they are just urging you to be very, very careful So, in essence, what I was just saying is that you have to realize the noun classes that a word falls under. For example, if you're talking about the key V, it means that in the singular, that particular word will start with the syllable ki, and in the plural, it will start with the syllable V. For example, you're talking about kiti is a seat. You would say kiti changu, kiti kimoja. But if you're talking about many seats, then you would say viti, viti. So today we are learning about this particular uh, plurals, how you transform them into plural. And if you're talking about, for example, this particular class of nouns, which is a key V, then they would have in their singular, they start with the syllable ki. In their plural, they start with the syllable V. We talked about also the first class of nouns, which is the awa or the wa. So in this class, the nouns have the prefix in the singular and wa in the syllable wa in the plural. However, there are many irregular nouns that don't follow these particular rules. For example, Rafiki is a friend, doctor, daktari is a doctor, kiwete is a lame person, and therefore you find that there are also some anomalies in that particular regard as well. And you cannot always say that all the words that refer to people start with the wa or the wa. But when it comes to the sentence structure, it is important to realize that in the sentence structure, they will take the hour. For example, mwanafunzi, which is a student, anaenda shule, that will be the anaenda shule. Refers to he or she, them. But if you're talking about a group, you would say wanafunzi wanaenda shule, wanafunzi wanaenda shule, and therefore you find that in that regard, the plural form will take the hour in that regard. I was just saying, apologies for the heat. In essence, I was just saying that if you're trying to understand how you move the sentence from the singular to the plural, what you get to notice is that you have to look at the noun class. What is the noun class? For example, if you're talking about the I, if you're talking about the eye, you would say jicho langu linauma. Jicho is one eye. If you go to talk about the both eyes, then you would say macho. So then that would be jicho, macho. If you're talking about something, for example, like you're talking about a dress, nguo is one, you say nguo, but in the plural, you would say, actually, nguo doesn't change. Nguo doesn't change. And also, bananas. If you're talking about bananas, ndizi, one banana is known as ndizi, but if you're talking about many bananas, it does not become mandizi, it just remains to be ndizi. So you might say ndizi, nataka ndizi, that is, I want a banana, which is one banana. But if you wanted to request for many bananas, it wouldn't change, it will still remain to be nataka ndizi, nataka ndizi. So if you have a question, please ask. I would love to respond to any question. In Swahili, we talk about swali for one question. In the plural, we do say maswali, maswali. For example, you would say niko na swali moja, and that would be have one question. But if you have many questions, then you would say niko na maswali kadhaa. Kadhaa means a couple of them. Niko na maswali kadhaa ningependa kukuuliza, which is that I would like to ask you. Niko na maswali kadhaa ningependa kukuuliza, which is I have a few questions that I would love to ask you, and it becomes very, very easy for you to be able to respond to that and maybe answer to that. It's not difficult. You might say swali for one, but maswali for many. But if you're talking about something like banana, you would say ndizi for one, but you do not say mandizi, you simply still say ndizi for many. So it does not change. Also, if you're talking about a thing like an insect, insect is known as inzi, inzi, N-Z-I, inzi for one insect. If you're talking about many insects, it does not change, it still remains to be inzi. So you might say inzi anazunguka kwa nyumba, but that is one. But then if you're talking about many, you might say inzi wanazunguka kwa nyumba. So it does not change, but you realize that you have to ask which noun class does this particular word fall under. If it is the or the our class of noun, which pertains to people and things, then for example, then that would be mkulima, it would be mtoto, it would be mwanafunzi, it would be mwalimu, it would be mwanasheria, it would be things that pertain to people and their careers. We talk about mwanahabari. Mwanahabari is a journalist. Mwanasheria, that is a lawyer. We might talk about things that have to do with people and their careers. They fall in the wa class of noun, and in their plural, they always start with the syllable wa. Mwanasheria, wanasheria. Mwanafunzi, wanafunzi. Mkulima, wakulima. Mgeni, wageni. So that is how you actually get to describe them, and it's not even difficult. The more you practice, the more you become perfect. Remember, you always have to involve people in your learning of the language. You cannot learn a language alone. You are speaking to people. You might be speaking to your friends, you might be speaking to your colleagues, you might be speaking to your family members, you might be speaking to different people. So make sure that you have people that you can learn the language with, and with that particular process, you are able to ask them questions, you can answer them, and that would actually be a good way to look at it. We shall take a short break. We shall enjoy a song. It's known as Machozi, like I did play a little bit earlier. And you shall let me know if you have any question when we get back. But for now, let's enjoy this particular song. It's known as Machozi, and it's a beautiful Swahili song that you can always enjoy at any particular time, and you can learn a little bit more about Swahili and how it's spoken and how people interact with this particular song.
Nilikaa kwenye vumbi, moyo ukiwa mzito, kila hatua ilikuwa ndefu kama mlima usioisha, lakini niliokota nguvu pale nilipoanguka, nikaweka jina langu juu ya kidonda. Nilikosa sauti, nikameza kilio, nikabeba siku hizi kama jiwe kifuani, lakini bado nipo, bado na hema, bado naona mwanga ukinipitia. Pole pole najisogeza mbele, pole pole najijenga tena. Usiku huu si wa mwisho, moyo wangu bado unajua kuota. Machozi yanatiririka, lakini naendelea. Machozi yanatiririka, naendelea. Najifuta leo, nainuka tena. machozi yanatiririka, lakini naendelea. Machozi yanatiririka, naendelea. Nafungua njia yangu. Nilidondoka chini, dunia ikanyamaza, watu wakapita, nikabaki na kivuli. Shuhuda kwamba maumivu haya yakunimaliza. Machozi yanatiririka, kimya usiku wa giza, nalia moyoni pole, nikijificha na maumivu haya, lakini najinyanyua, najipazi yangu. Kesho ni mpya tena, naanza safari yangu. Nilidondoka chini, dunia ikanikataa, lakini ndani yangu kuna moto hauzimiki. Ninainuka juu, napaka matai angani, kwa tumaini jipya nitaangaza gizani. Machozi yanatiririka, lakini naendelea. Machozi yanatiririka, naendelea. Najifuta leo, nainuka tena. Kesho ni mpya, naanza tena. Machozi yanatiririka, lakini naendelea. Machozi yanatiririka, naendelea. Nafungua njia yangu.
Apologies, we are back. I was just saying that if you're trying to learn and understand the language, how you move from singular to the plural, what you get to do is understand what is the noun class this particular word falls under. Because, for example, if you're talking about the our class of noun or the class of noun, then they will start with the consonant in the singular, but in the plural, they will start with the syllable wa. And therefore, you may talk about mwalimu, walimu, mwanafunzi, wanafunzi, and that is exactly how you would say it, and it's not even difficult. What you get to realize also is that with time, you also have to realize that how words or sentences are formed in Swahili. And yesterday we were saying that these follow the SVO, which is the subject, the verb, and the object. That is how they follow in a sentence structure. So if you're talking about mtoto mzuri anakula chakula, then that would be mtoto anakula chakula. That would be a child is eating food, or the baby is eating food. So the baby is eating food, you would say mtoto anakula chakula. And now we explained that so that you can just help understand how is it the sentences are formed in Swahili. You might say mtoto anakula chakula, anakula chakula, mtoto anakula chakula, anakula chakula. then that will be the baby. The baby is eating food. The baby is eating food. Is eating food. The baby is eating food. But yesterday, as we were learning about articles, we said that we don't have particular articles in Swahili. You know, for example, in English, you said the baby. In Swahili, we do not have those particular articles. The baby. We do say mtoto anakula chakula. We do not have a particular one for like that shows this particular baby is having food. But we say mtoto anakula chakula, and that is translated to the baby is eating food. So the baby, that happens to be the subject. The verb is kula. Kula is eating. And then the object is food. The object is food. So therefore you would say mtoto anakula chakula. That will be the baby is eating food. The baby is eating food. That is exactly how you would explain it. And it is not even difficult because at the end of the day, you are able to see how the sentence structures form. You would say mtoto anakula chakula, and that would be the child is eating food. The child is eating food. Remember also that when you're trying to move words from the singular to the plural, there is also that understanding of the ones that I did say that they do not have the singular and the plural is the same. For example, insect is inzi. If you're talking about many of them, insects, they still remain to be inzi. If you're talking about maybe perhaps things that are of like popo. Popo happens to be popo is a bat. Popo is a bat. It's an animal. But one bat is known as popo. But if you're talking about many bats, they will still remain to be popo. It wouldn't change. It will still remain the same. So you have to realize that there's some words in Swahili, and these words in their singular and in their plural, they remain to be the same. So that is also something worth noting. But essentially, what you need to know is that when it comes to talking about Swahili, you really have to realize that you have to understand the noun classes. It's very, very important. The noun classes, they matter. They're very, very, very important. And also, we now have to also get into understanding of our Swahili vocabulary. Yeah, because you're learning about grammar, any language has its vocabulary. And these are the words that you not find in day-to-day conversations. These are the words that maybe perhaps are a bit, some people might say they're a bit far-fetched or they are not, they're from outside that particular language. But learning the Swahili language is displayed below. It's very, very vital to the language. And Swahili vocabulary is a set of words that you'll be familiar with. Our vocabulary usually grows and evolves with age and serves as a useful and fundamental tool for communication and acquiring knowledge. And here are some examples. The word vocabulary itself in Swahili, it's known as msamiati. It's actually referred to as msamiati. That is for the vocabulary. We call it msamiati. If you're talking about countries, you would say we call them nchi. Nchi for countries. If we are talking about, for example, a country like China, China does not really change that much. It's known as Uchina. If you're talking about a country such as Egypt, we would refer to that as Misri. Misri. If you're talking about a country like England, you would call it Uingereza. If you're talking about France and you want to know what we call France in Swahili, we call it Ufaransa. Ufaransa. If you're talking about Germany, we refer to that as Ujerumani. Ujerumani in Swahili. If you're talking about Greece, we call it Ugiriki. If you're talking about India, we call it Barahindi. If you're talking about Italy, we call it Italia in Swahili. For Japan, we do not have a word for Japan. Mexico the same, Morocco the same, Peru the same. They remain to just be the way they are. But if you're talking about languages, we say like languages are known as Luga. Luga or Luha. For example, if you're talking about Chinese, we say Kichina. English, we say Kiingereza. French, we say Kifaransa. German, we say Kijerumani. Greek, we say Kigiriki. Hebrew, we say Kiyahudi. Hindi, we say Kihindi. Italian, we say Ki-Italiano. and that is exactly how you refer to that. But when it comes to the vocabulary of days, we have already studied that, I think, in a previous class, and we said for the days we call them siku. For example, if someone is asking you how many days, you would say siku ngapi. Siku ngapi, because days, they are referred to as siku. And you might start with, for example, Monday. Let's just start with Sunday. For Sunday, we refer to that as Jumapili. Jumapili. Today being on a Sunday, we might say Jumapili ya leo tarehe 3 mwezi wa 5 mwaka wa 2026. That is how you say it. Being that day of the month of May, the year 2026. So for Sunday is Jumapili. For Monday, we say Jumatatu, as you can see it here. For Monday, we say Jumatatu. For Tuesday, we say Jumanne. For Wednesday, we say Jumatano. For Thursday, we say Alhamisi. For Friday, we say Ijumaa. For Saturday, we say Jumamosi. And for Sunday, we say Jumapili. Once again, for Sunday, we do say Jumapili. And it's not difficult. What you just need to do is just have an understanding of these particular days. And the more you practice them, the more they become ingrained into your mind and your memory. And therefore, you can say Jumapili for today. Today being on a Sunday, you would say Jumapili, being on a Sunday. Tomorrow, being on a Monday, you will say Jumatatu, being on a Monday. On a Tuesday, you would say Jumanne for a Tuesday. For Wednesday, you would say Jumatano for Wednesday. Jumatano. For Thursday, you would actually say Alhamisi. Alhamisi. For example, you're telling someone, let's meet on Thursday. Let's meet on Thursday, please. Therefore, you would say tafadhali tupatane siku ya Alhamisi. Siku is a day. If we say siku ya Alhamisi, then that is understood to be on a Thursday. If you say Ijumaa, Ijumaa really means a Friday. Ijumaa, it means a Friday. So therefore, if you did say tafadhali tupatane siku ya Ijumaa, that would mean, please let us meet on a Friday. Please let us meet on a Friday. And that is just the way you do say it. That is just the way you do say it. Anyhow, some people sometimes they do ask, why is it that you guys speak or you guys have chosen to actually share or teach Swahili? But the answer is still the same. I do believe that Swahili is a language that will unify us as a people around the continent and even globally as a Black people. And I also do believe that Swahili is relatively easy to learn, because I always raise up my palm and I do say we have 5 vowels. The vowels, these form the building blocks for language, the vowels. Then you have the consonants. They also form the building blocks. We have 5 vowels. And then all the letters of the English alphabet, except for X and Q, they make up the consonants. So therefore, you also realize that Swahili is a language made up of syllables, words with syllables that have alternating vowel sounds. So that makes it very, very easy as well when it comes to how you understand the language. And we do not have cluster consonants. So in Swahili, we do not have cluster consonants. And therefore, it becomes a little bit difficult for you to imagine that you have any word that ends with a consonant like T, like G, like J. We do not have those words in Swahili. All the words, they end with syllables, with the vowel sounds. For example, kitabu, sufuria, maji, chakula, mkate. You might talk about anwani for an address. Talk about simu for a phone. You might talk about nyumba for a house. You might talk about rafiki for a friend. So all these words, they end up with a vowel sound. So that is one thing which is very, very important to noting. So if you have a question, please ask. Tafadhali uliza kama kuna swali. If you not have a question, then I will be more than glad to share with us, to go on a break and also share with us a song, because that is also very, very important that we do so also as we proceed. We do so as we proceed. So I'll share with us a song. It's known as a Sababisha. Let me know how you feel about this particular one. Sababisha means to cause, but it's by the one and only Savara.
Hey, mama alisema hii dunia si kifuani ubongo, ubongo. Tell your truth, Savara, jiepushe na uongo, uongo. If anybody doubt you, my son, waonyeshe kisogo, kisogo. It's all inside you, my son, and you don't know, you just don't know. I got my drink on ice, kuna vitu mingi zinani nice, zingine nime have to think twice. Ni nini nataka in life, lakini lini mta realize nilikata ku compromise. Una sasa tuna pay the price. What's it to divide? Cause after the rainy day, you can shine. We gonna light up all the way, all the way. Give thanks and we just don't forget to pray. Every day, don't delay.
Sababisha basi mbona mama, sababisha basi mbona mama, sababisha basi mbona mama, sababisha basi mbona mama, sababisha basi
We thank God for the water we carry home. Cause we are sons and daughters of the soul. Cause that's all that I feel in between my toes. Cause waters, yeah, I pour my drink on ice. Kuna vitu mingi.
Yes, that is exactly how the drama goes, and says nimechoka kurealize or nimechoka compromise, and which is nimechoka is simply a phrase which means I am tired of a compromise. And he also says that when it comes to like asking you have to reevaluate your goals. And I was saying ninini ninini he was saying that he needs to know what the priorities would be for him in that particular song. And he also says that nasababisha mwana wa mama. Mwana wa mama means son of my mother, son of my mother, son of my mother, mwana wa mama. Because in Swahili, when you're talking about women, we do say mama for a woman, and it can also be mama for a biological mother, mama. For example, you might say habari yako mama, which is how are you mom, how are you mother. And this is habari yako mama is to either a woman who is an elderly, someone elderly in society. She's a woman in the society, an elderly woman in society, for mama. So it is a very respectful way. Actually say habari yako mama. So habari, let me just put it down. Habari, H-A, habari yako, habari yako is simply how are you. Habari yako is simply how are you. Habari yako is simply how to ask how are you. But if someone says habari yako mama, they're just being very specific because they refer you. It's an elderly. It's a respectful way to say hello to the elderly, to a woman who is maybe perhaps the age of your mother. So someone would say habari yako mama. And then as a woman, as an elderly woman and a respectable woman, she would say nzuri or salama. Salama is S-A. Salama. Salama means well. Salama means well or okay. It means well or okay. So therefore, if you to say hello to a woman, an elderly woman, and say habari yako mama, then she might respond, or she would respond and say salama. Or she might also respond and say njema. Njema means okay. And Zema. Zema means okay. The final way she can respond and say nzuri. Nzuri. Habari yako mama, nzuri. That is the way she would say nzuri means good. Nzuri would simply mean good. Nzuri would simply mean good. But the way you would say a hello would be hujambo. Hujambo is hello, hujambo. Hujambo is hello, hujambo is hello. Hujambo is hello. So if you're saying hello to this woman and she is an elderly woman, you would say hujambo mama. Hujambo mama. And if you say hujambo to anyone in the Swahili context, then she would respond and say si jambo. Si jambo is a response. Si jambo is a response. Is a response to hello. Is a response to hello. Is a response to hujambo. So that is actually just the way it is. And yesterday we were saying that if you're trying to introduce yourself, you might say, Jina langu ni Spikes. That is, my name is Spikes. Jina is a name. Jina is a name. Jina is a name. Then my name is Jina langu. Langu is mine. Mine. Jina langu. Jina langu. Jina langu. Jina langu is my name. And then the syllable ni actually is, it means is. So ni, it means is. It means is. So I would therefore say, Jina langu ni Spikes. Jina langu ni Spikes. Is, my name is Spikes. Jina langu. You're introducing yourself. Jina langu ni Spikes. So therefore, my name is Spikes. My name is Spikes. My name is Spikes. Jina langu ni Spikes. If you wanted to ask someone, how about you? How about you? Yesterday we learned for the pronouns that to talk about the pronoun you, the second person, as wewe. The second person singular is wewe. So you might say je, wewe. And that would be how about you? How about you? How about you? So I'll come up to you and I say, hujambo kaka. If your brother, that is kaka is for brother, K-A is for brother. I will say hujambo kaka for brother. And then I would say hujambo kaka is hello brother. Then I would say jina langu ni Spikes. So I'll come up to you, maybe just extend my hand for a shake or just leave it. So say hujambo kaka, jina langu ni Spikes. And that would be hello brother, my name is Spikes. And then I want to ask je wewe. Je wewe is how about you? And then you can also respond and say jina langu ni Wilson, or jina langu ni Alex, or jina langu ni Mary. If your name was Mary, your name is Mary, say jina langu ni Mary. And then I might go ahead and say nina furaha kupatana nawe. And that will be I'm pleased to meet you, or I'm happy to meet you. I am happy to meet you. If someone says nami pia, pia means also. Pia means also. Pia means also. So if someone says nami pia, nami is myself as well. Nami is myself. Pia, then that will be me too, or myself as well. Myself as well. So you have already met someone. You've said hello to them. You've introduced yourself. And you're just trying to get acquainted, or just getting, you're getting acquainted. And that is exactly how you would go about it. That is exactly how you would say it. You're trying to introduce yourself, get acquainted with someone, and maybe perhaps now express your request. Because maybe you have a request for them, and you want to tell them, ninataka kitabu. Ninataka it means I want. Ninataka means I want. So I might say nipe kitabu. Nipe means give me. Or ninataka, it means I want. Ninataka kitabu chako. That would be I want to use your book, to borrow your book. That is exactly how you say it, and it's not even difficult. So thank you so much for joining us for class today. Let me know if you do have any question. If you do have any question, I will be more than glad to respond to your question. Please ask a question. Kama uko na swali tafadhali uliza. If you have a question, please ask. The way you get to say hello to someone is hujambo. If it's a brother, say hujambo kaka. If it's a sister, say hujambo dada. D-A-D-A is for sister. Hujambo dada. Habari yako. That would be hello sister, how are you? ujambo dada, habari yako is hello sister, how are you? And then they might say, nipo salama. Nipo salama means I am well, or I am okay. Nipo salama means I am well. I am well. Nipo salama. Wewe je, then that would be how about you. Wewe je, that would be how about you. How about you? Wewe je, how about you? You might say, nipo salama pia. I am great as well. Nipo salama pia. Then that would be I am great as well. I am great as well. So that is the way. That is exactly how you do say it. That is exactly how you do get to express yourself. Remember, we have Swahili vocabulary as we were getting to learn. Swahili vocabulary is not difficult, and we have so many words. I've talked about the days of the week. Sunday is Jumapili, Monday is Jumatatu, Friday is Ijumaa, Thursday is Alhamisi. That is just the way they go. We're talking about time, we refer to time as wakati. We're talking about hour, we refer to hour as saa. If you're talking about a minute, you would say dakika. If you're talking about a second, we do say pili. And it's not even difficult. When you talk about colors, we do say rangi. Rangi for colors. This is a list of Swahili vocabulary. Rangi for colors. Color black is known as nyeusi. Rangi nyeusi. Color blue is known as samawati. All blue, samawati. If you go to brown, we do say hudhurungi. If you go to gray, we do say kijivu. If you go to green, we do say kijani kibichi. If you go to orange, we do say chungwa. For purple, we say zambarau. For red, it's nyekundu. For white, it's nyeupe. For yellow, it's known as majano. If you have a question after a particular point, please ask. Kama uko na swali kufikia pale, tafadhali uliza. Please ask if you have a question to that particular point, or just let me know where you're tuning from. I would just love to know that as well. I would love to know, where are you tuning from? Where are you actually joining us from? It's always a pleasure to have you, and also give you a quick shout out so that you can also let me know where you are tuning from. And it's always a delight to have you tuned in and to have you join us for this particular session. Remember, you can visit the official network website. It's www.blackhotfirenetwork.com. And once you are there, please make sure that you also subscribe. Turn on the notifications. Sign up and turn on the notifications so that you are able to also catch up with whatever is happening. And you can also be able to find out what's going on with the Black Hot Fire, because it's always very, very important that you get to find out what's going on with us. We shall be taking a short break, and then when you come back, we shall be winding up. But for now, let's enjoy this particular song. It's known as Zamu Yangu. And Zamu simply means my turn. It means my turn. This is a song. Let me know what you feel about it.
Na iwapo kuna muda napojiuliza, mbona ni kama nimesahaulika, napata mawazo na fikira, hisia nazo kanizingira, kisha usingizi kitandani, nahisi tena haupo, ila nina imani kuwa nina imani kuwa muda haujazimi, moyo usikate tamaa, nipo hapa nasubiri. Zamu yangu, ndoto zangu, sote shaka wala haraka. Najua zamu yangu ipo. Zamu yangu ipo. Zamu yangu ipo. Macho yangu yaangaza juu kwa Mola mwenye uweza. Njoo sinani kwa mwingine. Najua zamu yangu ipo. Aliyeweka tumaini ni kwa wanadamu. Kesho kamkia mabadiliko. Nyakati na muda ukawa umesonga, ila kwa amani. Najua si milele. Zamu yangu, ndoto zangu zote nitafikia mie. Waliosuku watafahamu eti Mola wangu ndiye. Ndio maana sina shaka wa haraka. Najua zamu yangu ipo. Zamu yangu ipo. Zamu yangu ipo. Mwenye kutawala bingu na nchi, yeye kwa misimu anatamalaki. Yote majira, furaha na dhiki, anazidi kustahiki. Yeye ana uwezo wa kunipa zamu yangu siku iliyoonekana haifiki. Zamu yangu itakapowadia, milango iliyofungwa itafunguka kwetu sisi. Maana nina imani kuwa kwa mama na baba, kaka na dada, naomba usikate tamaa. Iwapo wengi wamekuongea, hata marafiki na jamaa, usikufe moyo wala kufadhaika. Maana ninayani kuwa zamu yako inakuja, pole pole inafika. Zamu yako, ndoto zangu zote utafikia pia. Na walioshuku watafahamu eti Mola wetu ndiye. Usiwe na shaka wala haraka, maana najua zamu yangu ipo. Zamu yangu ipo. Zamu yangu ipo.
That is a song, and it's known as a zamu. Zamu simply means my turn, and if anyone is talking about the opportunity coming, then that is exactly what this particular song means, that their chance is coming and the opportunity is also is that we talk about getting to connect with people in the Swahili culture or in the general East African culture. It's very important that to know that there is both direct and indirect communication. For direct communication, people don't still go into like the direct messages. Sometimes people use things like methali. These are proverbs and otherwise sayings in the language, and therefore it is also important that at some point we shall also be learning about the Swahili sayings. They're known as proverbs. Proverbs in Swahili, we call them methali. Methali in Swahili. And when you talk about methali, these are wise sayings from one particular, from different particular groups that are of people that make up the Swahili subculture. Every year, there is a special day set for the marking or the celebration of us, the significance of our Swahili. I think that is on the 17th of July every year. So I do hope that at that particular point, we shall also get to highlight the significance of Swahili because this is a language spoken by over 150 million people on the continent and off the continent. We talk about 200 million people because so many people speak the language. If you talk about a country like Kenya, we're about close to 60 million people. If you go to Tanzania, they are slightly more than, let me just confirm how many people, Swahili Tanzania population. Tanzania's population, it's at, let me see what the report is. Tanzania's population is estimated to be at 72.5 million people. For Kenya, it's about Kenya's population, it's about 60 million. For Kenya, it's about 60 million. So if you're talking about Kenya and Tanzania, we have a population of about 60 and 70. That's about 130 million. 130 million people. Go to Uganda. Uganda has a population. Uganda has a population of about 52 million. So if Swahili is, we did have already 130 plus 50. That's about 130 plus 50. It's about 180. And then you have to add Burundi, Rwanda, and the DRC. Those are three more. So if you look at the number of people, it's spoken by over 200 million people on the African continent, on and off the African continent. And therefore, we believe that this is a language for the future. This is a language that will unite us and bring us together. And we shall also be able to realize our goals as an African people through this beautiful language of Swahili. It is not difficult to learn. If you commit yourself to learning, then it becomes very, very easy for you to learn. And you are always at a better position because you can be able to conduct business using the language. You can be able to travel. You can be able to do leisure through this. You can be able to conduct your business through the language itself. Maybe perhaps you're buying items, maybe perhaps you're traveling, maybe perhaps you're resettling on the continent in Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, Congo, even Somalia. Recently, Somalia introduced that in their curriculum this language of Swahili, so that even if you're Somali, you can be able to also learn the language within your own country, and you do not have even to move anywhere. So we hope more countries will introduce this language. It will be in a much, much better position. We shall be in a much better position to unite, because the goal is the Pan-African spirit for people to unite around the continent and even beyond. Within the continent, 54 countries. If we are able to understand each other within the 54 countries, then we can be able to be more united, and we can be able even to go even to the Caribbean. For the Caribbean, we have Jamaica, we have Haiti, we have these other countries in the Caribbean, and we can also be able to influence them to speak in Swahili. So if you are able to speak in Swahili as a Black people globally, imagine how powerful we can be as an African people who are speaking one language, whether be it from the Caribbean, whether be it from whatever you are as a Black person, you're able to communicate with this language. We can be able even to now exchange ideas. We can be able to foster trade. We can be able to foster other things, and we might not have as many barriers. And also it forms that brotherly and sisterly kind of spirit, where people can now be able to see each other as a fellow African person, as a brother, as a sister, and we can be able to build globally through this beautiful language of Swahili, because that is the whole idea of us having the Pan-African platform here, which teaches Swahili and other things as well. So thank you so much for being with us for today. Thank you so much for taking your time to just learn a bit of this language. Make sure you join us next week on Saturday and also on Sunday, even as we continue with the same. For now, I want to wish you a happy and a productive week ahead. Make sure you stay aware of what is happening with the environment. and also keep safe and also keep informed. Till next time, much peace and love. I want to say kwaheri. Kwaheri ya kuonana. Hadi wakati mwingine. Stay safe. Peace out.
Where you go?